Thanks for stopping by the Search T channel. I am Search T, and in this video I'll be doing my recap of the episode number 7 of Cobra Kai Season 5 entitled Bad Eggs. That is in reference to the exercise that Chosen put Sam and Miguel and Hawk and Robbie through. And the other students as well of Miyagi-Do. They're back in. They are committed to the task, to the we call it, to the mission of putting Cobra Kai out of business. And what a way to end this episode! You're thinking that the Kreese is going to work with Danny and Johnny, or should I say Johnny and Danny? We thought, oh, it's going to work with Kreese, put everything behind him. No, we all saw how it ended. A promise of a lawyer from Danny that can help him get his sentence reduced, get him out of jail early. Nuh-uh. He had a piece of paper, but he says, I want you to tell me about Terry's plan. And of course, Terry's plan in the end is to get Cobra Kai to go global. That means they're going to be taking part in a tournament, a worldwide tournament entitled Sekai Taikai. Sekai Takai, I guess that's how you pronounce it. An elite karate tournament in the world. And he tells them that. I'm surprised he didn't say anything about Tori, how she's in there. They're wondering, how do you know all this? Can we trust you? Johnny is not one to easily put his trust back into a man who pretty much, although it's like a father figure to him in the beginning of his training career and everything like that. He's training at Cobra Kai. He didn't want to fall back into his teaching, his ways, and especially now because he's found the love of his life in what do you call it, in Carmen, and they're having a baby, and Carmen and Johnny's sons are getting along, so he don't want to do that. But the way that he goes, okay, so what's you guys have now? I've John Kreese is pretty much saying I've fallen. I'm not fallen, but I actually did fall into a trap. But he's basically saying that, okay, I lived up to my end. How about you guys? What the number? He gives it. Danny gives the thing to him, and then he opens it up, and on the note it says, "No mercy, motherfucker." Johnny smiles, and that's how it ended. Very good way to end this episode. It was a lot of fun. Let's talk about some of the things that's going on in this episode. Well, not some of the things, all the things, of course. But I may be all over the place, but I'm going to get it through. I'm going to get through it. I'm going to present my recap and my thoughts on the episode. So let's get into it. There was a point in the show where in 1980, pretty much where it takes place, where you see Silver and Kreese train in South Korea under Kim Sun Young, who is of course the grandfather of Sensei Kim, um, who was introduced last episode. Ouroboros, I guess, and then so you see it. It's pretty intense. You see a young Kim Daun, right? That's her name. You see a young version of herself there. We see the same actors that played Terry and Kreese as youngsters. There's even a point where you know Terry wants to go global. Somehow, some way, he's got like money and a business and all that stuff, right? He's already he's already like full steam ahead, right? He even wears a suit and an ascot and has this brochure that says Sakai Takai on it, and tells him that with this win, we win this tournament and we go global. We're Cobra Kai's gonna be everywhere, right? He even buys the dojo for him so that he can lead the dojo, and he talks about a kid, someone who's a potential champion for to represent Cobra Kai, and talking about Johnny because he goes, yeah, we even have the same name. Sometimes I forget his first name, Kreese. It's John Kreese, of course, and I always forget sometimes. I wonder how many of you guys, think of that when you see Johnny and you see John Kreese, and you do you ever remember that their names are the same? I always go by Kreese and I always go by Johnny, and I never say John Kreese. I never say, you know, but we see that, and the training is pretty intense. Kim Sung Young is really an impressive looking sensei. He's got long gray hair and the gi on and everything like that. He just keeps saying over in Korean over and over again, again. He even tells Kreese to hit him, hit Terry, and hits him with all his might, all his force, you know. And I actually do like that. I mean, it's something like it would be a good spin-off if you did a spin-off with the younger Kreese and Kreese and Terry. That would be actually pretty wild, and it would be a pretty good way of seeing their progression, their training, how they went from just really really good, upstanding young guys to like who they are in later years, right? Now, like I said earlier, like how it ended, I mean, Daniel and Johnny go and visit Kreese. Amanda's the one who brought it up. And she says, "How are you guys gonna beat him if you don't go you know, to Kreese?" I mean, yeah, because Kreese is a guy who knows Terry, knows him well. Pretty much. If I remember correctly, he introduced him to karate, right? He was a timid, shy, scared guy. I would say he was scared of his own shadow. Remember when they were in those pit fights, right? And we thought that one guy that kind of looked like him. Remember, he gets killed, and we go, well, that's not him. But when you see remember, we see a young Terry, he didn't have the ponytail yet. The other guy did. It's kind of like a way to throw us off. He thought that was Terry. He got killed. Oh, that's not Terry, you know. But they go there, and they definitely don't trust Kreese. We know that. Kreese is just like he's also on his he's kind of on his defense, like going kind of defensive, going what are you guys doing here? How much you think I'm gonna help you? Johnny doesn't want to have anything to do with him. Like I said earlier, he wants to just get out. Let's just get out of here, John. Danny. Let's just forget this crap. Let's forget this. And you saw what happened. In the end, what happened towards the end is like classic. I love the fact that they got one over on him. So don't know what's going to happen with Kreese. Don't know if he is going to eventually get out. Maybe not even in this season. It's going to be something else. Like he'll still be in jail, and then maybe he's going to get out. I don't know. We don't know. I mean, I don't know yet because this is only episode 7, and week to week, like I've always said, I'm watching these, and I like it better like that because it really is a way to stretch this out because I really love this show and I don't want it to end. I mean, especially the fact that they've announced that season 6 is going to take a little bit longer to get you know running and done and filmed and post production and everything and put on what do you call it? Put on Netflix. And I do hope that they do what they were saying that they're planning on doing is not just dropping it all in one in 10 episodes, just drop it in our lap. They're looking at possibly weekly. So hopefully that's the case because then I wouldn't have to like get almost spoilers, like seeing things and I gotta turn it off or I gotta click off it or I have to always like a channel that puts it. I got a channel that's solely based on focused on Cobra Kai. I gotta not get kind of block them so that I don't see those things from them out like that. But let's keep going. Let's go on. Move on to Chosen. Now Chosen, he's probably better than Johnny and Daniel. He's probably the best out of those guys. The way he fights, he's very ruthless, right? Very. We remember him from Karate Kid 2. Here, he was using his brain. He was using actually something, maybe not using his brain. I mean, but trying to use someone not, instead of their physicality. He wanted them to use their brain. Find a way to protect an egg, right? And they got to keep it from being destroyed. And then you got Chosen destroying these eggs one after the other with a little throwing knife thing. Kind of reminds me of what well, no, not really. But I was thinking about Bruce Lee, but he had those long, what do you call those, like 3 inch, what do I call it, oversized toothpicks. I'm trying to remember what those were, but we were in Return of the Dragon when he tried to disarm all those mafia guys. Mafia guys, they look like rejects from what do you call it, from like what do you call it, like Woodstock or something like that. But he would throw them and then and stuck in their hands, and they dropped their guns and stuff like that. I mean, he had great aim, but Bruce Lee just went like this, boom, and then like, you know. But he had these little throwing knives. Oh yeah, in Return of the Dragon. Remember when the girl threw the little knife and then it stuck in an apple, right? So like somebody threw like I think Han threw the apple up. The one girl who was a spy that infiltrated Han's thing threw the little blade thing, hit the apple, and then Bruce Lee caught it and took the thing out and ate it. He had that little thing, and then remember later on when you went to go meet her, he just belongs to you, kind of. Oh no, the girl was like peddling her prostitutes or whatever, and she's all like, "Is there a specific girl you like, Mr. Lee?" And he goes, "The owner of this blade or something like that," right? That's my little tangent into Enter the Dragon. I can't get enough time about Bruce Lee. He's my favorite. He's my hero. But let's move on. So Chosen is doing all that. He's destroying all these eggs. He's guys are keeping it in the pocket, and he's smashing them. Robbie buried an egg, thinking that was clever. Turns around, there's Chosen. Chosen just takes a spear and stabs the egg. You have Miguel and Sam left. They're in the dojo, and then Miguel gets his egg smashed, and then she thinks that she has the advantage. Like trying to get my egg. Yeah, to get my egg, you gotta go through me. That's what Sam did. And then he's like, "This egg," and then she looks at her bag first. He just somehow got it. You know what I mean? Very clever. I mean, he's a very very fierce, very strong adversary for anybody. Very skilled, of course, right? But he know how to use his wits, and he know how to use kind of outsmart these guys. These kids don't know what they're doing yet. Okay, he gives them another chance. Whole thing of eggs again. That he got from Trader Joe's for only what that 3.29. And hey, grab an egg. So they all grab an egg, and they're going, okay. The one guy, curly hair guy, the one who was that the one little fat dude who was at the Cobra Kai thing only to get like a cupcake or cake, whatever he ate, and then one of his boys were looking at him and they smack him on the head. Like, I know, I'm like going like, well, what are you doing there, fool? Like, you don't. I get it. And then you get, they're selling some good cookies and stuff like that over there. Then I mean, not selling them, but they're giving them out. That was the whole thing. They were like recruiting people and stuff like that. You see Terry and his students going through their motions, going through their kicking and punching, and then there's Sensei Kim and stuff like that. They try to do it again. Like, okay, Chosen is like, okay, get your eggs. They go through the exercise again, but before they do it, Anthony, who remembers what his sister told him, he said, because you want you to use your brain, you use your wits, your smarts, like that, because he's a smart kid. So she's like, because he's starting from square one. Like, you have those fools, Kenny and Kyler and the other guys. Because Anthony was at one of those things, one of those tables where Cobra Kai tables where they're selling shirts and stuff like that, or giving shirts away. I don't know what they're doing. He grabbed it, right? He grabbed the shirt. Guy goes, "Hey, how about you sign up?" Grabs the shirt. He just throws it behind him, but right behind him is Kenny, Kyler, and the rest. And then they bully him again. They take his head and they drag him and they find a stall with the dirtiest toilet there that hasn't been washed, and you know what's in it. I'm not gonna say what's in it, but y'all know who watched this episode. You know that they shoved his head in it. Even later on, he's talking. Yeah, people are calling me shithead now at school and stuff like that. Pretty, pretty raunchy, man. Right? Pretty bad, right? They're doing that. I just hope that there's hope for Kenny that he turns it around. Maybe his brother. I was thinking maybe his brother when he gets out of juvie, his brother's gonna know, hey, you're doing the wrong thing. I mean, his brother's was a punk and a bully to Robbie and Juvie, but they ended up coming together and they ended up being cool. Because I don't know, I mean, I don't think his brother would want that because his brother knows what it's like to go through juvie. Like his brother is gonna be the same way. Their father was as an army, soldier. There's honor and respect in that. Like I don't think their dad would want that, right? But they, decided to get together. All those guys, Anthony and them, they're saying, let's. So they all decide, they're like quoting that one game. It's almost like Dungeons and Dragons kind of game, and they said that even Dimitri goes, yeah, even if you're level 85, you can't beat. I guess they're talking about the boss, right? You gotta. So they're talking about, you gotta get together. We gotta do everything to, we have to be together. We have to put all our faculties together. We got to put all of our, heads together and figure our way out of it. They even put their eggs all in one basket, and you know how the saying goes: you don't, you shouldn't put all your eggs in one basket, right? But they decided to put it behind them, and then here comes Chosen running like a madman. You know how Rambo was running with that thing like that. He was running with a damn spear, a bow staff like that. And then they end up, posing like this, and they end up going at Chosen, and they're doing really, really good. I mean, you see Sam hold his arm back, and then in comes Miguel with a kick, and they're like all over him. And Chosen is handling his business, but he gets overwhelmed. He succeeds. He goes, the Cobra or the snake, what do you call it, concedes. That's what he said. He was representing the snake, and they were the birds with the little egg, trying to protect the egg. So he's happy, he smiles, and they bow, attention, and then they bow. And then he says, yeah, now I'm going to teach you how to, I believe, master your defense. Something about defense, but he's going to now teach them. And they couldn't have been in better hands at all. Daniel and Johnny are looking to try to get all the information they can to bring down Terry. That's a good thing because then they have a very, very capable sensei and chosen to teach the kids, to teach the Cobra, the Miyagi-Do students. Now, at Cobra Kai, you have Sensei Kreese, Sensei Silver and Sensei Kim. They split the students in two groups. Girls go with Kim, and then the boys, are with Silver. And another sensei, I believe his name was Oberon. I think. I think Oberon is the guy from Game of Thrones. Odell. Odell, there you go. Oberon is the guy, yeah, the one that the mountain smashed his head. Remember that? I remember he was actually known as wasn't he known as the snake or something like that? His nickname, right? Against the mountain, whatever. That's cool. That's what we call it. That's Game of Thrones. But yeah, they do that, and then the boys and girls, and then they have two students from each group work together to combat the respective sensei. So you have, you know, Kyler, and you have, Kenny take on Sensei Odell. And of course, they're not going to do well against Odell. He's really quite skilled. He wouldn't be a sensei under Sensei Kim if he wasn't. And you see Kyler always barking out things like, "Oh, here, go for the leg, go for the knee." You don't think that since I'm thinking I'm watching this, I'm going, Sensei Odell can hear this shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, they might be able to get in there and get him a hit on there, but like if he's hearing this, like, it's not. And then what happens is that he does that, and all he does is it seems like he's sending Kenny to the wolves, right? Kenny gets frustrated, and then Silver's like, "Go to my office," He goes over there and talks to him, and in the end, pretty much of that conversation, he pretty much tells him, "Why are you asking me or Kyler what to do next? We're looking for a leader." So pretty much he's telling him, "You gotta think for yourself. You got to ask yourself. You got to believe in yourself." And then when they go back out there, Kyler comes in again. Let's go team up. And he says, "Okay, well, I'm gonna lead." Da, da, da. And then he's like, "Oh no, you're not." And then they start pushing each other, right? And then he knocks Kyler down. And then Sensei Odell's like looking around, like what's going on, and stuff. And then off, Kenny jumps off the back of Kyler, and then lands a flying kick right into the chest of Sensei Odell, and he gets a point winner. You didn't know that there was points. Like even Tori and what's her name? The other girl, I forget her name. Jenny, right? Yeah, Jenny. And then it's like with them, like they didn't think that it was points, and then like they basically. Because over there, they didn't find a leader. I mean, Sensei Kim was like, "Okay, who?" After she went through all the women, all the girls, and she's like, "So who's gonna step up? Who wants to be a leader?" And then they decide to do it again. Jenny and Hers decide to, and Tori decide to do it again. They volunteer. They get knocked on their ass again. And she goes, she, pretty much like Tori's thinking that, in the real world there's no points. But in this exercise, says Sensei Kim, there are points. You lose. And you can see Tori is like, she's not there because she wants to be. She's Sensei Kreese's little bird that will fly to him and let him know what's going on. She's the reason why he knows what's going on, you know. And it's just like they're really just training these people. They're training them like for for battle, not just for a tournament, not even for the world's biggest tournament. It's just like they are, but it's like they're training them for almost like it's like you're going into war. Because how important is it to Terry, and how important is it to Sensei Kim and everybody who's involved in Cobra Kai that they want to go global, you know? And Devin, I don't know why I said Jenny. I think that's Jenny. I think that's her real name, Devin. Devin is her name. Tori and Devin. I don't know why I said Jenny. I think Jenny is her real name. I think her name is. I think that's her real name. I'm trying to remember. You know. But you know, that's pretty much it when it comes to covering everything that happened. Um, what I like about this is we finally see Anthony embracing pretty much what's going to be his legacy. We know how much these guys love Miyagi, what he did for their father, taught him to be a man, trained him to be a good fighter. You know, like we know that Daniel lost his way, but then when he went to go visit Miyagi's, grave, remember that scene where he's in the car and then that first time we ever hear Miyagi's voice again was that season two, I think it was, or maybe even season one. I think it's the second episode, but it's like we all remember how that felt, like to hear, that voice again, and it kind of gave him that foundation again, like he found his balance again, because of that, and then you know the progression of everything that's happened up until this point. This right now, it's not a joke. It's not a joke, and they need all hands on deck, right? And that's why I'm glad to see Anthony. Like, what's this? Like almost 5 seasons done, and he's finally now embracing it. And now he wants to learn, and it took him, finally, that final act from Kenny and them to really, really open his eyes and go, man, I gotta at least be able to defend himself. You know what I mean? Kenny's not going to get any better. At least for the meantime, he's going to continue to be bitter, continue to want to take. And people always say, and it's true, who can blame Kenny after what Anthony and his friends, his punk ass friends, did? You know, a new kid, they're going to target the kid, which was Kenny. So I can see that, but it's not going to do him any better. You have all that bitterness, you have all that anger in you. It's going to probably put you down the same road like Terry and like even Kreese. They started out as good guys, and then they look what happened. You know. But I enjoyed this episode. I really really thought it just continues. The momentum, of Cobra Kai, the writers, the directors, the actors in this show. You don't want to see the show end. I don't. But it's gonna end one day. We know, and hopefully they'll segue into movies and they will do spin-offs. We'll follow Miguel and Sam and the others. After the characters are gone, the OGs. I mean, how long could they go? You know what I mean? It's true. You know what I mean? They'll probably move on from them, even though they're still alive in real life. But they'll move on from them and they'll start doing shows, about the kids and about things. Maybe they even might do an origin story with Miyagi. There's a lot of people who are pulling for that, and I am too. It'd be great to see that. You know, origin story with Kreese and Silver. They're training under Kim Sung Young, right? And I actually liked this one scene I liked where he did something real clever, and then he looks over at the young Kim Dong, Sensei Kim, and then you see, and Kreese, winks at her, and So he has definitely has a long, connection. Those sort of Silver. That's why Silver, you know, recruited her because they go way back to like the early '80s, 1980, like that, right? But yeah. I mean, that's my video. That's my rundown, my thoughts, my recap. That's what this video is. It's a recap of Cobra Kai season 5, episode 7, entitled "Bad Eggs." And there's no bad egg in this one. Well, the bad eggs, of course, is Silver and his students. All a bunch of good kids. They only want to just learn to defend themselves and all that. But it's starting to be a thing where he's using these kids to kind of get his way, to kind of enact his plan for global domination. I mean, that's pretty much what he's doing. He's like a Doctor Evil. He's like these Bond villains that they want to take over the world. They want domination through what? Nuclear war and all that stuff, nuclear annihilation, when it comes to those villains from that, from that, but then he just wants to just take over the world and make Cobra Kai the only thing happening, you know what I mean, when it comes to dojos, when it comes to karate, it comes to self defense and all that. And you just want to see him go down. You want to see him be taken down. I'm excited to see what happens at the end. A lot of people are excited. I see a lot of thumbnails and some people saying, "Oh man," like there's some people that are pretty good, pretty decent. When I watch other contact reactors and all that, reactors to Cobra Kai and all that, and then there's people that are pretty cool. They will like, "Oh, I can't wait! You guys can't wait to see you guys, what you guys think of the end of this season, episode 10 and all that." So something big's gonna happen. I don't know, but I'm gonna watch what, 2 more episodes until the, 8 and 9, and then 10. Another couple 2 3 weeks, and then I'll be able to find out. Can't wait. But anyway, that's my video. Before I end this video, please, if you would do me a kind favor, and please subscribe, click like, and share. Also, hit the bell icon and click all, select all, so that you'll have all my you know all of my uploads and all that good stuff. So, well, like I said, that's my video, my recap of Cobra Kai Episode 7, Season 5. And this one's, of course, titled Bad Eggs. Well, that's my video. So, for those of you who stopped by and checked it out, I appreciate it. And in closing, as always, take care.